Now, imagine a completely different scene. Forget Paris. Forget the salon. Forget the loud political shouting in the streets. Instead, feel the steam, the heavy, humid heat, the absolute silence. You are in a dimly lit space where soft light slides across bare skin. People here aren't posing for a portrait. They simply exist. It's not a photograph, and it's certainly not what anyone expected from a safe, academic painter. This is the Massage, a scene in a Hammam, painted in 1883. And yes, this is the work of the same Édouard Deba-Ponsan. Wait, how did a disciplined student of the Academy end up here? To understand, we have to go back a few years. After his early success at the Salon, Debat-Ponsan became an artist the state could trust. His large-scale historical works, like The Daughter of Jephthah, were perfect, classical, tragic, and technically flawless. But Debat-Ponsan wasn't satisfied with perfection. He wanted life. In 1877, a grant took him to Italy for a year. There, he studied the human body, not as an ideal statue, but as living, breathing flesh. He absorbed the elegance of Angora and the raw, earthy honesty of millet. This is where his unique style was forged. A meticulous realism combined with a symbolism that doesn't scream, but lingers in your mind. Upon his return, people became more important to him than plots. But history has a way of pulling you back in. In 1880, he painted a chilling scene, one morning at the gates of the Louvre. It shows Catherine de' Medici, dressed in cold black, calmly looking down at the piles of corpses after the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre. On the surface, it's a history lesson. In reality, it was a brutal commentary on power and the weight of responsibility. It was a warning. And then came the sharpest turn of his career. In the early 1880s, Debat-Ponsan traveled to Constantinople, the city of blinding light, deep shadows, and ancient rituals. What he saw there wasn't the fairy tale East other painters were selling. He saw the intimacy of daily life without the theater. The result was the Massage. It wasn't scandalous because of the nudity. It was unsettling because of its honesty. No fake exoticism, no caricature, just the density of the moment and a profound respect for reality. While some critics praised his boldness, others feared he was drifting too far from pure academic art. But Debat-Ponsan was already moving beyond their labels. Between his Oriental scenes and his honest depictions of French peasant life, showing work, fatigue, and the silence after a long day, he was balancing on a thin line. He was caught between the elegance of his Minter Cabanel and the raw power of Courbet. By this point, Debat-Ponsan had mastered how to show the body. He had mastered how to show reality without filters. So, when the very fabric of French society began to tear apart at the end of the century, he couldn't just look away. An artist who has learned to look at the world honestly can no longer remain silent. That famous painting of truth emerging from the well, it wasn't a sudden fluke. It was the inevitable explosion of a man who had been preparing to speak his mind for 20 years. Next, we will see the moment he finally stepped into the light, not with a brush of color, but with a weapon of truth.